Now can you see, sir, Samir sir, on your
नहीं
laptop?
नहीं नहीं कुछ भी नहीं है.
नहीं, ये तो I mean you should see because most of us are seeing now.
Yes, now
Uh,
yes, now I can see. Yes, yes,
okay.
got it.
Yeah.
हाँ.
So just a second. Yeah. So we are all online.
Yeah.
Samir sir, Dr. Mayur Agrawal from Akola as our panelist. Mayur, can you listen to me? Dr. Mayur Agrawal, please unmute yourself.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah, Mayur.
Yes, sir. I'm listening, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So, Shailesh sir, Samir sir, and Mayur, the agenda is
Yes, sir.
for first 10 minutes. I'll be handing over the proceedings to our President, Dr. Vikram Desai sir, and Atish Bansod sir, Secretary, ESN. The contest we had today, MasterChef contest, will be announcing the winner of that contest in some time.
Okay.
Our chef, Mr. Vishnu Manohar, who is judging that contest, he will come online and will declare the winners. Once that is done, we'll start our presentation.
Okay. Are we going to get some taste of whatever has been cooked?
Sir, the winners will be giving you that taste. Let's see what our president has decided about it. Our president and secretary will be deciding on that aspect. Let's see.
Okay.
So, Vikram sir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Okay.
Yeah. So, sir, what I am going to do, Samir sir and Shailesh sir, I am going to put your mic on mute for 5-10 minutes, because then more the number of mics which are open, it creates a lot of disturbances in the voice. Okay.
Sure.
So I have kept Mayur, yours, and Shailesh sir's mic on mute as of now. Abhi Vikram sir is online. He is speaking. Vikram sir.
Yes, Yogesh.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Atish Bansod sir, and I'm waiting for Mr. Vishnu Manohar to get on line. As soon as he is there, yeah.
Yeah, then we will start.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll call them.
Okay.
We have already 15 people online, but I'm not seeing our secretary. आप आ जाओ, आप और विक्रम सर आगे की. So I just spoke to our secretary, Vikram sir.
Okay.
Yeah, our judge Vishnu Manohar has asked for some 2-3 minutes more. So by that time, Atish sir is joining in. I request you and sir to please guide us. What are the things which we are planning ahead?
Okay.
Yeah. So we have around 18 people online now. Next 5 minutes will be our number to 25-30, which will be enough for us to start.
Right.
Yeah. So what is the next activity, sir? What should we start preparing now?
There was a suggestion from Prashant that we do some couple dance and duet song. I think that sounds like a fantastic idea. We can work on it and see how it pans out during this lockdown period, because almost 2 weeks more to go. At least till 17th May, we are in lockdown. Hopefully after that, if it relaxes, then we have some time to think about it.
Okay, sir. Sir, about our webinar activities now from next week, from Monday, we are planning it to be an alternate day activity. Monday, Wednesday,
Okay.
and Friday. Alternate day activity. That is what we have planned. And
Fine.
about continuation of our subscription, we'll take that decision in a day or two. So
Yeah.
we might shift our base from GoToWebinar to Zoom or any other app, considering all the aspects, the clarity, the service, and charges and all. I'm in touch
Yeah.
with Rahate sir and Vikas Jain sir about it. Rahate sir, you are
Okay.
online. I have unmuted you.
Yes.
Hello, Prashant.
Hello.
Yeah, we are just waiting for Vishnuji to come in before we start our today's webinar.
Atish sir.
Yes, sir. Am I audible now?
Yeah,
Hello.
you are.
Hello.
Atish sir, sir, Rahate sir, you are very much clear. Rahate sir, we can listen to you, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Is Atish online?
Yeah, Atish sir is online. I have unmuted him. Atish
Okay.
sir. I guess he had some call. Rahate sir, तुम्हाला ऐकू येत नाही का? Sir. Some issue with his head. So actually we have 25 people already online. Sir, I had
Okay.
promised sir, we'll have a lot many people listening to this talk. You were bit skeptical about it, but we'll have a great audience.
Okay.
So see, people
Yeah,
are interested.
Talking Prashant.
Is Shailesh muted too
Am I
right
audible?
Yes, sir,
Yes,
clear.
Yes, Prashant.
now? Hi, Shailesh.
I
How
can't
are you?
hear.
Hi. Hi, Vikram.
I
Good to
can't
hear
Hello.
from all of you.
Yeah, you will have to bear with us for some time because we have some important today's function ASN MasterChef. We have to declare the results and we have to hear a few words from Vishnuji. So probably your talk might be delayed a bit. Please bear with us.
Sir, good
Nothing
evening.
to bear about that. Yeah, good evening, Samir. And
Yes,
I
sir.
enjoyed all the dishes that were shown on ASN. So happy to continue.
Okay, good.
Sir, Secretary sir is online. Atish sir, please unmute yourself. नहीं, Atish sir है, but he's not unmuting himself. Okay.
Call karo?
नहीं,
Hello.
he's there online. Yeah,
Hello.
Atish sir. Yes, sir.
Hello. I just had a talk with Mr. Vishnu Manohar. He has requested next 3 to 4 minutes to compile the result because of the
Okay.
tremendous response he has received. Nearly
Yeah,
94 entries.
Tough job.
Yeah, really means more than tough was that keep compiling all the data while everyone was posting. We were preparing all the data, making the entries. So he has to choose the winner. It is even a difficult job for him.
I know. Yeah, a lot of back office work for Atish.
Yeah, thank you.
Keep it up. You and Yogesh are really flying the flag of ASN high, and I hope we come out of this lockdown soon, so
Yes,
that we
sir.
can start our regular activities.
Yes.
So, sir, we have a question from our panelists today. Are we going to taste these things, or are we going to get a taste of these beautiful dishes up here? Samir sir wants to judge that by tasting it.
Yeah, the proof of the pudding lies in eating it. So definitely sometime after the lockdown, we need to meet, and then, yeah, at least the prize winners need to celebrate.
We can have a good dabba party, preparing all these dishes and meeting at some place and then eat and decide.
Exactly.
A
As
trip to
someone was
Ambazari.
suggesting, so next conference we don't have a caterer, so you have to bring your own dabba.
Maybe trip to Ambassador like we used to go in school days. Everyone carry his
Yeah.
own tiffin and share it.
But is Ambassador still open? I mean, how is the garden? Is it maintained properly?
Don't know, sir. Many people go there for walking, morning walk.
Yeah, morning walk, people do go.
Yeah.
I am happy with the organizers that they are offering something. I thought they will say that go on the ASN site and enjoy all the dishes.
Yeah.
Yogesh, I will just disconnect and talk with Vishnu sir if he is ready with the results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ask him to
Atish,
log in. Yeah.
Yeah, guess ना म्हणा
Yeah.
की जास्त लोड घेऊ नका. सगळ्यांचे डिशेस छान
Yes.
झाले.
Yes.
त्यांना सांगा योगेशला विनर डिक्लेअर करून टाका म्हणा, बाकी झालं सगळ्यांचं. राहते सर.
पार्टी योगेश विनर्स को बाद में.
सर अभी डिसाइड हुआ डब्बा पार्टी करेंगे करके.
नहीं वो तो कॉन्फ्रेंस के लिए रे.
अरे
Yes, Rahate sir.
Hello, I can't see Dr. Mayur on my screen.
Sir, he is not on his laptop. I guess he is on his mobile. So with mobile,
Okay.
Mayur.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yes,
Mayur,
sir.
you are on mobile, na?
Good afternoon. Yes, sir, I'm on mobile.
Yeah. That's why we can't see him.
Just count. Yes.
Hi Mayur, so you can see and hear us.
Hello. Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Hello,
Very good
Mayur.
afternoon, Mayur.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yeah.
Now, after the tremendous response to this food fiesta, I can't imagine what will happen during the dance. Huh?
Okay.
टेस्ट दाखवणे वाला आहे.
हाँ ना?
Vikram sir,
Explode.
Atish sir,
Bolo
Atish sir,
Yogesh. Bolo,
can we
bolo.
do one thing? We will continue with our talk right now, and we'll ask
Yeah.
our judge to take his time.
Yeah.
45 minutes later, as we finish off our talk and discussion, we can get him online at the
Yeah.
end of session that he will be
Yeah,
declaring.
yeah, he has asked 10 more minutes, so I think we should start it. And
Yeah, we don't give him a time.
once
Let
he
him take-
conveys us, he is ready.
So once the
Yeah.
talk is over, we'll get him
Yeah.
online, and then
Yeah,
after that,
Okay.
question answers.
that
Like
will be
we'll-
fine.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. So panelists,
Okay,
I
that
guess
will be fine.
talk. So hello everyone. Today
Hello.
after that excellent competition which we had, now it's a time to get back to studies. Today's our topic is basically the thing which we encounter in our day-to-day practice, and each and every one of us has our own way to deal with these things. It's basically management of bed sore, prevention and management. For this talk, we have panelists Dr. Samir Jagirdar sir and Dr. Mayur Agrawal from Akula, and our speaker
Hello.
is Dr. Shah. I would request Samir sir to take over the proceedings and begin the today's webinar. Thank you, Samir.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Yogesh. Respected seniors and my friends, we are all here on a virtual gathering for a webinar on prevention and management of bed sores. We have eminent speaker amongst ourselves, a senior plastic surgeon from Nagpur, Dr. Shailesh Nisa sir. To introduce him, I don't think he requires introduction, but just to complete the formality, I'm speaking few words about him. He's director of Spurge Clinics. He's head of the department of plastic surgery in Kingsway Hospital, Nagpur. Very busy plastic surgeon of Nagpur. My teacher, I used to go to him to present cases when I was exam going for MCH. Apart from being an excellent clinician and surgeon, he is a well-known cyclist and speaker. And he is going to speak on prevention and management of bed sore. Bed sore, if you talk about bed sore, it is an excellent example of the phrase, prevention is better than cure. It is better to prevent it than manage it. I'm sure about it. Everyone knows about it. It's a tricky problem. It requires repeated surgical debridement, and there's massive tissue loss after debridement. Generally, bone is exposed. There is high degree of infection, and it is very difficult to heal without reconstructive procedures. and these patients are generally having comorbid condition. So definitely a very tricky and interesting topic, and no better person than Dr. Shailesh Nisar can speak about it. So over to Nisar sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Samir, for your kind words. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we can listen to you, sir. You go ahead with your talk, sir.
Yes.
I will directly move on to my talk. I'm sharing my screen. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
Is my screen seen? Yeah.
Yes.
So it's my pleasure to be with all my surgeon friends, senior colleagues, teachers, everybody who's around to hear about bed sores, which are also called pressure sores or decubitus ulcers. Now, to begin with, I will present some startling statistics and facts. The US Department of Health came up with these figures that there are 25 lakh bed sores in the United States per year, out of which 5 to 15% is the incidence amongst the hospitalized patients. Some, like in ICUs or old age homes, the incidence is higher, but then the final figure is this. There are 60,000 deaths per year attributed to the presence of bed sores. And last but the most important, there are 17,000 lawsuits per year because of bed sores in patients while they were in the hospital. Now the lawsuits certainly alarmed me. Why were they so many? Because bed sore is considered to be one of the commonest iatrogenic problems. So after gross negligence, bed sores is the second most common cause of courts granting relief to patients. Isn't it frightening? Patients who were left with only bed sores are not covered by insurance anymore. So it was estimated that hospitals lost $11 billion in 2016 because Medicaid and Medicare didn't cover it. So we move on to the causes. There are certain direct and some indirect causes. Some of these are such that something can be done about them, which are the ones which are highlighted: pressure, shear, friction, and certain which are related to the basic disease, the basic ailment: immobility and loss of sensation. Similarly, amongst the indirect causes, there are mobility problems. They can have paresis or issues with their movements, poor nutrition which can be corrected, health conditions and comorbidities which can be controlled very well, but certain problems which are just there: the aging frail skin, incontinence which makes it difficult for the carers to handle it, and mental health conditions similarly creating further issues. The classification of bed sores, pressure sores, I have simplified it to make it easier to understand. The grade 1 is when it is very superficial. When there is erythema, which is non-blanching, sometimes there is peeling of the epidermis, but the dermis is not exposed. Grade 2, when it permeates through the epidermis and superficial dermis, the deeper layer of dermis is exposed but still acts as a barrier. Grade 3, when the full thickness of skin is lost and the subcutaneous fat, subcutaneous tissue is exposed. Grade 4, when even the subcutaneous fat is gone and then there is involvement of deeper layers like ligaments, muscles, and bone. And there is a grade 5, or the unstageable grade, where the presence of eschar or slough or necrosed tissue sitting there, which does not make it possible to really grade it. This is a pictorial depiction of what I said. A is the one where there is involvement of the epidermis and dermis, but they may or may not be peeling of the epidermis. Level 2 is where the deeper layer of dermis is exposed, the epidermis and dermis is gone. C, where the subcutaneous tissue is involved, and D, where the ligaments, the muscles and the bone deep to the subcutaneous tissue are also involved. E and F are the unstageable levels. The risk factors for the bed sores. The most important being sustained pressure. And if there is sustained pressure, everyone is susceptible, starting from a newborn child to a fit, healthy adult to a old patient. Everybody can have pressure sores, and sometimes in very little time. There are numerous other factors like anemia, hypoproteinemia, poor nutrition, obesity, comorbidities, old age which makes the skin very thin. But I have highlighted medications because certain medications which are more commonly used now are causing more number of bed sores according to many studies. The chief amongst them is vasopressors. The vasopressors which are given in ICUs reduce the peripheral perfusion pressure and result in increased incidence of pressure sores. Similarly, corticosteroids. Corticosteroids result in collagen breakdown, making the skin more amenable to breakdowns. When it comes to bed sore, it is all about prevention. And why is it all about prevention? Because the hospital and the treating surgeons are the people who are responsible for any pressure sore. You can sometimes feel that it is the responsibility of nursing. No, the vicarious responsibility is of the managing team. So what needs to be done? The sheets need to be removed, the patient needs to be turned, and all the pressure areas need to be looked at. You cannot believe on nurses or paramedical staff or even residents, because we are the best judge to detect the beginning. The beginning would be erythema, which is non-blanching. There is a team of people who manage bed sores. Physicians who will control comorbidities fast and well. Nutritionist who will focus on the nutrition. Physiotherapist which will contribute to ambulation and mobility. And lastly, nursing staff who are the main pillar in the prevention of bed sores. But then, in spite of the whole team, you have to lead from the front. Look for them every time you take your rounds. The main points of prevention is back care. Now, turning the patient every 2 hours has been the basic algorithm. With the present alphabets that are available, there are studies which have started saying that turning them every 4 hours is okay. The results are more or less the same. The reason being, turning a patient every 2 hours has become humanly impossible if it goes on, and there are quite a few number of patients. Looking for soakage, soiled, moist bed sheets or nappies are important contributors to formation and progress of bed sores. The soakage could be from the sore itself, from incontinence or sweat, but then it has to be looked for, cleaned, dried, the sheet changed, and everything should be dry and wrinkle free at the end of each relook. Nutritionist or dietitian form an important part of the preventive team, maintaining the hydration of the patient, maintaining their hemoglobin, serum albumin, the calories. All these need scrupulous attention. It is good to involve them because while the surgeon focuses on other things, the vitals, the urine output, the flutters, the motions, the wound. The dietitian comes there only to focus on these above aspects. And depending on the basic pathology, the needs differ and the solutions are different. Like somebody who is might go into electrolyte imbalance, they would know how to change their nutrition in the best possible way. Now, these are the situations which tell you that the care has been very poor. Now, there are multiple pressure sores starting from grade 1 to grade 5, wherever there has been slightest pressure. So you know that this patient has never been turned, or this soiling, what kind of infection and what kind of progress can it result to? Unattended soiling is a disaster. Solidifying diets are available which can be started, but more important, frequent inspection. If the patient has been applied a nappy, it needs to be removed, inspected. If at all motions have been passed, they have to be cleaned quickly. Barrier dressings used to be applied, but nowadays they are done less so. But you just have an elevation of dynaplast between the anal opening and the border of the pressure sore, which acts as a barrier for this soiling. Heel pressure sores in patients who have a splint or a plaster are common. They need to be carefully prevented. But sometimes you have pressure sores at unusual sites as well. Like for example, this is a sore on the knee. This patient has congenital anomalies and she keeps dragging herself, crawling on the knees. And this deep sore now has an exposed patella. So again, what needs to be done? Looking for pressure sore is the primary most important bottom line. Send a message across that the surgeon is excessively sensitive about bed sores. So everybody who thinks about it immediately goes and looks whether there is a beginning of a bed sore and something more needs to be done. They would change the position of the patient. The other thing is involving the plastic surgeon in the beginning stages. Request continued visits and care. And in case an intervention is to be done, like an debridement or an application of a negative pressure wound therapy or a flap, the primary surgeon should take part in the counseling. We as plastic surgeons have been called rescue surgeons, but then many a times we are called only when people are cornered and they want rescue. Rather, involve us early, and though the instructions could be small and trivial, they need to be diligently implemented. Now, one thing that comes to the mind is 60,000 deaths due to attributed to bed sores. Why would they happen? Most of them are because of sepsis. Sepsis and osteomyelitis is the main cause of deaths due to a bed sore. But some causes are attributed to amyloidosis, and sometimes Marjolin ulcers are known to happen in long-term bed sores. Now it's management. I was speaking to one of our iconic teachers, past president of our association, Dr. Mukund Thatte, and I asked him, what would be your message about management of pressure sores? He said, don't do flaps. That is my message. Why? Because they recur. I was astonished. I asked him, why do you say so? He said, I did about 100 flaps and most of them came back with a recurrence. But remember, all of them were paraplegics. So the message that comes here is, in paraplegics, quadriplegics or hemiplegics, unless the care is going to be very scrupulous, doing a flap can only be temporary. You can end up the same patient coming back with another bed sore in a few months. So primarily the management is conservative or interventions. Conservative includes back care, which we already saw. Optimizing the patient's condition. This is very important, and sometimes this is what is not attended to well. So getting a team together and optimizing the patient's general condition goes a long way in a bed sore to heal. A frequent change of position. This is something which, if at home carers, the nurses appointed, or in the hospital, all the paramedical staff have to continuously do. Just putting in a pillow below the shoulder blade and the butt changes the angle and changes the pressure point. So one pillow on one side, the same pillow on the opposite side, or two pillows on the same side, all of these are enough to change the position. And frequent change of dressings. Frequent meaning a soiled dressing, a dressing which is stained to the outside, is better removed and changed. Interventions could be debridements, drainage, NPWT if required, and flaps. Now about the dressings. This is a major area of controversies, but essentially all studies have come to the conclusion that none of the dressings are perfect, and there are no major advantages or disadvantages of various dressings. The popular ones are hydrocolloids or alginates. Essential thumb rule is, if the exudate is not much, apply hydrocolloids, and if the exudate is a lot, apply alginates. Alginates because their absorptive capacity is huge. Hydrocolloids because their absorption is less, their permeability is more, but they provide the right atmosphere and temperature, the moist, humid atmosphere that is required for healing. About the role of local antiseptics. Again, no specific preferences. Silver containing local antiseptics have been found to be a shade better than others, but my personal choice is asking them to have 4 different local tubes: one gentamicin, one neosporin, one hydroheal, one metrogyl gel, so that there is no resistance to one particular local antiseptic, and one or the other keeps acting on the local organisms which are growing there. Another area of major discussion is the beds or mattresses. Now, alternating pressure beds have changed the incidence of bed sore significantly. They are good. So I would consider that alpha beds or any bed which has multiple channels which alternately empty and fill up automatically change the pressure points, and they help in changing the position of the patients automatically. Constant low pressure beds like the air beds and water beds were also useful because studies found that they reduced the pressure to about 25 millimeters of mercury, which was good for skin perfusion to happen. But then they are not as good as alternating pressure beds, and they are more cumbersome to handle. There are certain indigenous devices that people use: water-filled gloves, foams put in plasters to prevent heel ulcers, silicone sheets. They are all very good when properly used, and everyone who is using them well with good effects should continue to do that. Now about healing by dressings and proper care alone. Yes, this do heal, but it takes a long time, sometimes months, sometimes even a year. But healing by secondary intention also happens. I have seen enough examples of bed sores healing by secondary intention, but the duration has been very long. Now about the surgical management. The guidelines are all these things have to be done to surgically manage a bed sore. Excision of ulcer, surrounding scar, underlying bursa, and soft tissue calcification if there is any. Radical removal of underlying bone and heterotopic calcification if there is any. Following which, the bony stumps have to be padded and the dead space has to be filled. So it effectively means resurfacing with a large regional pedicle flap. So it has to be large. There should be no tension on the suture lines. It is most of the times regional, so it is a pedicle flap. Microvascular free flaps have rarely been done on bed sores and for specific indications. Skin grafting, if at all, has to be done only at the site of the flap, the donor site of the flap, not on the primary raw area at all. Now this is a sacral sore which needs debridement, debrided, and a negative pressure wound therapy or WAC has been applied. Now WAC application helps in many ways. It reduces edema. It takes care of the pockets. It draws away all the dirty fluid there and reduces the bacterial colony count. So sepsis is controlled. In fact, the role of systemic antibiotics gets eliminated or reduced substantially once an effective negative pressure wound therapy is applied. And the angiogenesis that it stimulates results in improving the bed substantially. Now this same patient went on to become like this, off and on with WAC applications. Now what do we do when we reach here? When it has gone into a non-healing phase, you can look at it and see that now this is not going to heal or going to do so extremely slowly. So a simple measure is refreshen edges, curate the bed, convert the non-healing phase into an healing ulcer. And since it is this small, you can plan a flap if the logistics permit. Another thing which I wanted to point out in such cases is that if curettage is going to be delayed for any reason, Cadoximer iodine is known to penetrate the biofilm. So there is a biofilm which comes on this ulcer, which most local applications will not penetrate and would be useless. But Cadomer is a tube which is available, which when applied, it breaks down this biofilm and also is effective on the ulcer underneath it. If edges can be refreshened, the base curated, and all the care started, it may heal on its own. Now we move on to flaps. One important part about flaps is that pressure source cannot be closed by undermining and primary closure. It will give way. Skin grafts, again, primarily on the source, skin grafts are not an option. However good the bed looks like, they will be lost. So skin grafts have a role only if at all on the flap donor area. Vascularized flaps, which will provide padding, which will eliminate the dead space and give full thickness skin cover over the pressure areas, is the only solution, surgical solution to bed sores. Now which flaps? Numerous locoregional flaps have been used. The workhorses being gluteus maximus, tensor fascia lata, and the hamstrings. The rule that is followed whenever a flap is planned is don't destroy another flap which you may need to use at a later date. So a recurrent bed sore has always is necessary to be kept in mind whenever we do a flap for any sore. Some examples: a trochanteric sore after debridement, a tensor fascia lata flap is the best option when available. The tensor fascia lata myocutaneous flap derives its blood supply about 8 to 10 centimeters below the ASIS, the transverse branch of the lateral circumflex femoral artery, and if it is preserved well, the flap moves in without tension, the donor area can be closed primarily, and stable healing can be achieved. But the important thing is it needs 3 months for this area to become strong enough to tolerate normal shearing and friction that is possible in that area. So it is necessary that these patients are attended to very carefully for the first month and asked to take care for 3 months till the tensile strength of the whole region, the whole scar reaches near normal. If there is a slightest breakdown, we show zero tolerance to it. Immediately attack it by cleaning, applying antibiotics, attending to it, or doing a secondary suturing, whatever required, because otherwise they can progress rapidly. A moderate to small sacral sore. We get into a habit of finding out perforators using a handheld Doppler. They give us a three-dimensional view of how the perfusion of this flap is coming. This hatchet-shaped flap contains gluteus maximus, which makes it very robust, very safe. And if tension-free closure is achieved, since the flap was small, the donor area as well closed primarily, good stable cover has been achieved at the end of 1 month. But then the patient has to be warned that they have to be nurse prone or in the opposite lateral position till the time this good healing happens, which is at least a duration of a month. A large size sacral sore, single side rotation flaps or both sided rotation flaps are used to close these sores. When executed well, they rotate into the defects very well, heal by primary intention most of the times if there is no infection and proper care is attended to. So good healing by primary intention can happen in a patient who is selected well and in whom the flap has been executed correctly. It is not always necessary to take it inferiorly based. Sometimes double opposing flaps are also possible. We generally decide based on the shape of the defect and how easily the surrounding tissues move in as to which way to close it. One other unusual situation, but sometimes does happen, is a squamous cell carcinoma in a sacral pressure sore. This is the typical Marjolin ulcer proved on biopsy. A wide local excision done since there was no spread in lymph nodes or systemic as is usual with Marjolin ulcers, and closure using a hatchet-shaped flap. Now you'll notice that in this flap, only the fascia over the gluteus maximus has been taken. The muscle has not been included. She was an old lady where the skin laxity was good. The skin moved in well, but then hypoperfused flap, distal margin showing signs of problems. Luckily, it was superficial, was not full thickness, did not need intervention, and healed by secondary intention well. And one example with a small video of a ischial sore with chronic osteomyelitis. When this patient came, he said they said that this particular sore gives about a cup full of clear fluid every day for the last 4 years. They were not worried about the other small raw areas, but only the ischial area. When we debrided it, yes, before debridement, we did a CT scan. It showed osteomyelitis of the ischial tuberosity. These pieces of calcification seen around, they could be heterotopic calcification, but then the erosion of the bone of the ischial tuberosity indicated that there is osteomyelitis as well. So this was the pocket which needed to be attended to in addition to closing it. In fact, this was more important than closing the skin defect. And when we debrided it, this is what came out: bursa, dirty granulation, scar tissue, fragments of bone, everything cleaned out, and we applied a vac. Meanwhile, we also did the planning for our future flap, but then applied a negative pressure wound dressing just to take care that all the infection is attended to. Osteomyelitis, which is known to recur, which is known to harbor dormant bacteria, is attended better. And then the next procedure could be planned. Now, this is the way we plan this. The mid-sacral line, the line joining the mid-sacral line as well as the trochanter, the posterior superior iliac spine, the superior gluteal artery is 5 centimeter below the PSIS, 3 centimeters lateral to the mid-sacral line, and the inferior gluteal artery lies in the straight line 5 centimeters below the superior gluteal artery. The incision was, since it was the superiorly based gluteus maximus flap, the incision was planned along the inferior gluteal fold, and you can notice it being rotated this high, but it would be taken only to the extent it is necessary. Now, during the procedure, the cavity was cleaned. The gluteus maximus insertion had been identified and divided. This is the ischial tuberosity, which is now looking healthy because it has been chiseled and curated. The VAC has effectively attended to all the surrounding tissues which look good. This is the big pocket which was present, and this dead space needs to be filled with vascularized tissue, and muscle is the best vascularized tissue which will fill this dead space and take care of the localized infection there as well. So this muscle filled in the pocket created by that ischial sore, and since the skin defect was not too big, the skin rotated well and the donor area closed primarily. Luckily, good healing happened without any discharge. Plus, the raw areas over the trochanter and the sacrum during this care, where he was nursed in other positions, also started contracting and healing. One happy patient. So, in spite of all the management modalities, we again come down to prevention of bed sores, because it leads to huge financial, emotional, psychological, and social problems. It is primarily a responsibility of healthcare givers, and it will not be covered by the insurance and reimbursing authorities, and it has a morbidity and mortality that is avoidable. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Samir sir, with your permission, I'll just take in Mr. Vishnu Manohar online. He will declare the winner. Start our discussion, because he has to attend some important conference call. He's ready with the results. Yeah, Bansod sir. Ah. Okay. Yeah. Sir, just a second. There is some issue from Samir sir, you can please start your comments. He will be online in a minute. By that time, just have your comments.
Okay, thank you, Shailesh sir. It was a wonderful and excellent presentation. I had started feeling like I'm again sitting in clinics and just learning from you about bed sore. So it was a wonderful presentation. To revise and put it in summary, some takeaway points from your presentation. The prevention is the best management. If I'm correct, if at all we are talking about bed sores, because once there is a bed sore, there is a lot of headache. High degree of suspicion during rounds, regular checkups, building nutrition of the patient, posture changes, air bed, alpha bed, and alternate methods, and surgical debridement, adequate surgical debridement with excision of bursa is the mainstay of treatment of bed sore. Once the bed sore is excised, then maybe some reconstruction or secondary healing by secondary intention if the patient is paraplegic. These are the takeaway points from your presentation. They are well taken, sir. I would like to comment one more thing about this. There are certain contraindications for NPWT, vacuum therapy. One, as you said, if there is a malignancy, again, you need a wide local excision debridement. But if there is malignancy, it's a contraindication for NPWT. If there is osteomyelitis and there is inadequate debridement, most of the time the NPWT fails because there is some slough or some ischa still remaining in the wound. So adequate debridement and then NPWT is one more addition to that, and possibly use of papain, or rather we call them medical debriders like papain urea ointments, which can be utilized in some indicated patients where you can achieve a good wound bed for further reconstruction or the treatment. So with that, can we have some questions on this topic?
Yeah, Mayur.
Hello.
Mayur.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
Mayur, please.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for this wonderful presentation. I remembered my MCH exam days. This would be very useful presentation for me. Actually, sir, I want to add one more thing in that. We generally face spasticity and contractures in the joints during treating the bed sores. For that, some medical treatments like baclofen or Betos therapy can be used, or some regional blocks can be used to relieve the spasticity. And secondly, we can use moisturizers for the remaining body to reduce the shearing effects of the surrounding things. And the third thing is that we have started using some charts. In nursing chart only, we used to add one more column, the time of changing the position of the patient and who has changed the position. This is very useful in nursing point of view for us.
Yeah, one more point, if I may add.
Yes.
Yeah, one
Yes.
more point. Many times when we are allowing the wounds to get healed by secondary intention, it helps if we can reduce somehow the dimension of the wound. So though the edge to edge approximation after debridement is contraindicated in bed sores, but many a times in large wounds you can just apply loose sutures just to reduce the dimension and then apply NPWT and go on for further treatment. That is one additional point. Reduction of dimension of the wound may help in reducing the recovery time.
Yes, these points are very important. Mayur, what you said about moisturizing the remaining skin is a very important thing that can be done. Emollients, application of emollients and keeping the skin slightly oily and moist prevents further pressure sores and protects the surrounding skin. The addition to the nursing chart is an excellent addition. Yeah. Sorry, Yogesh, you were saying something?
Yeah, sorry. I was talking to Mr. Vishnu Manohar. He's online now. I'll just hand over the proceeding for a minute to him. I'm very sorry for interrupting all of you. Yeah, Mr. Vishnu Manohar, good evening. You can unmute yourself, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, Mr. Vishnu Manohar.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, we can listen to you loud and clear.
Okay. You can't see me? आप मुझे नहीं देख सकते हैं?
विष्णु सर, हम इमेजिन कर रहे हैं। अ प्लेजर
हाँ?
सीइंग यू। शैलेश निसार बोल रहा हूँ।
ओके, आया निसर सर, हाउ आर यू?
आई एम गुड।
मैंने भी खाली इमेजिन किया कि किसने किसने कितनी मेहनत ली है और कितना कितना क्या किया है, और इमेजिन करते करते मुंह में पूरा पानी भर गया, और पता नहीं चला मुझे कि सर्जन लोग खाना बनाने में भी इतने सृजनशील होते हैं। हाँ, तो
हाथ से
बहुत
काम
अच्छा
करने
लगा।
वाले लोग हैं सर।
हाथ से काम करने सभी में कला होती है, और बहुत अच्छा सभी ने प्रयास किया। और सबसे पहले मैं सभी को मैं धन्यवाद देता हूँ, और सभी को बकअप भी करता हूँ कि खाना बनाना अपने आप में एक कला भी है, और स्ट्रेस मैनेजमेंट का भी काम करती है। यानी आपका तो बहुत ही स्ट्रेसफुल जॉब है सभी लोगों का, तो उसमें से यदि आपको कुछ निकलना है बाहर, तो एक कप चाय बना के देखिए तो आपको मजा आएगा। और वो चाय खुद के लिए नहीं बनाना, दूसरे के लिए बनाना, कोई आपके नर्स हो, असिस्टेंट हो, उसके लिए बनाओ, उसको भी अच्छा लगेगा और आप लोगों को भी। तो बहुत अच्छा लगा, और इतनी सारी रेसिपीज थी, 94 अबाउ ऐसी रेसिपीज थी, उसमें से चुन पाना थोड़ा सा मुश्किल था, बट वो अच्छा डिफिकल्ट टास्क था। और मैं ये मेरा एक्सपीरियंस सभी मेरे मित्र बाजू में बगल में बैठे टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया के रिपोर्टर हैं, उनसे शेयर कर रहा हूँ, तो वो बोले कि ये अपने आप में एक स्टोरी है। तो ये सारा कच्चा चिट्ठा भी जाएगा टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया में, तो देखो किसको किसको क्या क्या पढ़ने मिलेगा। ठीक है, तो
विष्णु सर,
मजा आएगा।
आपको शेफ्स की जरूरत पड़ी तो सर्जन्स को भी याद रखना।
अभी जब मैं 7,000 किलो मिसल बनाने वाला हूँ, तो इसमें से जिसने जिसने मिसल बनाई है, बहुत ही प्यारी, माने प्रेजेंटेशन बहुत अच्छा था, तो उनको तो जरूर मैं ले जाऊंगा।
थैंक यू,
यस,
थैंक यू।
किसी को कुछ पूछना है तो पूछिए, और मैंने रिजल्ट दे दिए हैं। और दूसरी बात यह है कि प्रेजेंटेशन के ऊपर मार्क्स थे, और एक नाम अच्छा देना था, तो कई लोगों ने नाम के बारे में थोड़ी सी कंजूसी की है, रेसिपी ठोक दी, बट काही जी नावाले काफी सारे नाम आए, वो बहुत अच्छे थे। जैसे एक अंडा करी वाला जो एक कैप्शन दिया था, बहुत ही अच्छा दिया था किसी ने दिया, और दिख भी रही थी अंडा करी अच्छी। और हमेशा एक बात ध्यान में रखना कि जब भी हम कोई रेसिपी बनाते हैं, तो ऊपर किसी ने एक फूल रख दिया था, रेसिपी बहुत अच्छी थी, वरना उसके ऊपर जो फूल रखने से क्या होगा, फूल में कई बार वो इंसेक्टिसाइड्स मारते हैं वगैरह, तो वो थोड़ा सा अवॉइड करिए। अदरवाइज ऑल वेल गुड, बढ़िया, मजा आया। और रिजल्ट जो है, तो रिजल्ट्स मैंने ऑर्गेनाइजर की तरफ दे दी, वो अभी आपको बताएंगे। और मैंने जानबूझ के, ऑर्गेनाइजर ने भी पार्टिसिपेट किया था, उनको मैंने बाहर रखा, क्योंकि वो मेरे हिसाब से कंपटीशन में नहीं आने चाहिए, बट उन्होंने भी बहुत अच्छी रेसिपीज बनाए थे। उनको मैं अलग से मेरे तरफ से इनाम दूंगा, सीक्रेट्स ऑफ इंडियन ग्रेवी।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू। सर रिजल्ट्स यदि आप ही डिक्लेयर करें तो बहुत अच्छा रहेगा सर, प्लीज आप बता दीजिए।
एक
बोलिए
मिनट,
सर प्लीज।
नहीं, मुझे नीचे जाना पड़ेगा, डायरी मेरी नीचे रह गई। एक सेकंड।
Yogesh, till that
Yes.
time, can I introduce him formally?
हाँ,
Hello, am I audible?
हेलो।
या
Yes sir, yes.
Namaskar, namaste,
नमस्कार।
welcome,
नमस्कार।
welcome, Assalamu alaikum. A very warm good afternoon in this torrid May and lockdown. So I am really overwhelmed by the response of my surgical colleagues in this ASN MasterChef 2020. And it has been really a tough job for Vishnuji to judge the recipes of our surgeon colleagues. So just to brief you about Vishnuji, nobody requires a formal introduction, but he is Orange City's most admired celebrity chef. And he is not only a master chef, but a very successful entrepreneur and acclaimed writer and actor. He is very popular for his finger-licking fusion dishes. He has made a name for himself in the hotel industry. He has hosted many shows like Sine Nawase, Choka, Mezwani. He is the world record holder for the longest stretch of cooking. So I welcome Shri Vishnuji on behalf of ASN to this ASN MasterChef 2020 competition. The concept of this MasterChef competition was not a competition in the true sense. It is more of a sporting event and a fun activity to beat down the Corona blues, and of course to explore the hidden culinary talent of our surgical colleagues. So I think we have been really successful in doing that. And if Vishnuji is back with us, I request him to please announce the results of this ASN MasterChef. At the same time, I would like to thank all the organizers, my secretary Atish, Prashant Rahate, for roping in such a master chef at a short notice as our chief guest and judge, and all of you, because of which this program has been extremely successful. So is Vishnuji back with us?
Yes, I'm here only.
Okay, sir. You go ahead
So,
with the results, please.
बाकी मैंने तो मेरे मैंने कंपटीशन के बारे में सभी बताया था, और एक शख्स को जानबूझ के और से दूर रखा मैंने, प्रशांत रहाटे को, मेरा दोस्त है, इसलिए तो सबको मालूम है। उसको यदि मैंने कुछ दिया, उसने बहुत अच्छी अच्छी रेसिपीज बनाई थी, उसको यदि मैं कुछ दूंगा तो सब बोलेंगे अरे हाँ दोस्त को बराबर दिया उसने, तो इसलिए मैं प्रशांत को भी नहीं दे रहा हूँ, बट वो इसके काबिल है, क्या कंपटीशन में अव्वल के काबिल है, उसको भी मैं एक किताब मेरी तरफ से पहुंचा दूंगा प्रशांत। ओके, तो
Thank you so much, Vishnu. You've been a savior to all of us during this lockdown. आपके रेसिपीज देख के ही हम लोग महीना भर सवेरे शाम खाने का इंतजाम कर रहे हैं। Thank you so much for that.
नहीं, मैं आपको धन्यवाद देता हूँ, आप लोगों के कारण मेरा YouTube का इस महीने का बिल जो है डॉलर्स में काफी ज्यादा आने वाला है, क्योंकि बार बार आपने रेसिपी देखी, और थैंक्स। तो देखिए, कचौड़ी जो है सेगा वाली कचौड़ी, उसको डॉक्टर उपगनलावार, ठीक है, देन डॉक्टर बुटानी और मेन कोर्स वेज के लिए, देन कुरैशी साहब जो है ब्रेकफास्ट के लिए उन्हें चुना गया। उसके बाद में राहुल नाइकवाड़े, उन्होंने बहुत अच्छा ड्रिंक बनाया, काढ़ा। देन डॉक्टर सुनील गाथे रसमलाई जिन्होंने बनाई थी, विक्रम देसाई एक करी, और पीजी स्टूडेंट जो है वो नाम इसमें नहीं है, वो मेरे ख्याल से ऑर्गेनाइजर के पास मैंने दिया था। हेलो, मुझे सुन रहे हैं आप?
यस।
हाँ, लास्ट नेम यहाँ पर नहीं है, मैंने लास्ट में अभी दिया था आपको, एक मिनट। पीजी वाला जो है, आई एम सॉरी, वो नाम मुझे कहाँ गया ये?
आतिश सर आपके पास होगा नाम?
हाँ, आतिश सर के पास होगा, अभी दिया था मैंने, आतिश बंसोड़ जी को दिया था मैंने।
हाँ सर, आतिश बंसोड़ सर। सर वो डिश का नाम बता दीजिए जो जीती है। आई गेस हम आतिश बंसोड़ सर से ही ले लेंगे सर वो डिश का नाम। जी, हेलो मिस्टर विष्णु जी। अच्छा हुआ, समोसा। हेलो विष्णु जी।
हेलो
डॉक्टर बंसोड़ जी ने, डॉक्टर आतिश सर ने मुझे अभी मैसेज किया, स्प्रिंग समोसा।
हाँ, स्प्रिंग समोसा, यस।
नेवा अच्छा वार, नेवा अवसर और स्प्रिंग समोसा, या
जी। तो सभी को बधाई देता हूँ फिर से मैं, ठीक है, और इसका एक फूड फेस्टिवल करेंगे, ठीक है, और कुछ रेसिपीज में हम बनाएंगे, और जो मैंने 2 प्राइज डिक्लेयर किए मैं आतिश सर के पास पहुंचा दूंगा, ठीक है।
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर,
थैंक यू, बहुत अच्छा लगा।
थैंक यू
विष्णु जी।
थैंक यू
ASN की तरफ से आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, हार्टफेल्ट थैंक्स।
आपका कभी प्रोग्राम रहा तो बुलाइए, मैं आऊंगा, और जो बातें मेरे को यहाँ से किया वो रूबरू आके आमने सामने करूंगा, ठीक है, ताकि और आप नेक्स्ट टाइम और अच्छा खाना बनाएंगे।
JJ.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Vishnu.
Thank you, Sarji. Yeah.
Yeah. So congratulations to all the winners. And now we have a series of questions which are hand raised here. So I guess I'll start with all the plastic surgeons first, because there are many plastic surgeons who have raised their hand. First is Dr. Darshan Revanwar, sir. Darshan, sir, I have unmuted your mic. Please go ahead with your question. Darshan, sir. Dr. Anup Salda. Dr. Anup, please ask your
I'm
question.
here.
Yeah, Anup.
Nisar sir, very good afternoon. Very nice presentation. Sir, more than 50% of these bed sore patients give headache to me. And in regard to counseling, because more than 50% of the patients land up with some or the other form of complication when you operate, debride, do VAG, or do some flap. Sir, please elaborate on how to do counseling of these patients.
See, you have to be very clear and blunt when you tell the patients the real situation. The best patient is one who is ambulatory, at least partly so, who is otherwise fit and healthy. His skin condition, his general condition is optimized. And the third important factor is the caregivers at home, and not the people employed by them, but their close ones. If they are fine, it is good to take a chance. But you need to tell them that there is a 50% incidence of a minor or a major complication which will need further interventions. And if you are willing to take the chance, go ahead with it, because that is your only option. I tell them very bluntly that this is your only option. Otherwise, you continue to take care of it. We are not interested in covering an area which can give way again. So long duration of care, or else a surgery which is fraught with complications.
May I add one point, sir? Yeah, if such patients are being discharged, it is prudent and advisable to take a photograph and send it with the patient himself or the relative. So when they go back to their place and come back with a recurrent bed sore, many a times they claim that the bed sore was not treated properly. So record of wound healing and treatment, photographic record, is also should be a part of counseling. This was the condition before, now we are discharging you, or this is the status now, and when you come back we will compare the status, because the nursing care at home is always a problematic area, and they come back with recurrent bed sore, very bad recurrent bed sore. So counseling as well as the photographic record, I think they should constitute a major bulk of in overall counseling.
Yeah, Darshan, sir.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Hi, Darshan.
Sir,
Please
hi,
go
sir.
ahead.
Sir, in cases of multiple bed sores, what is your criteria of giving the positions? In suppose bilateral trochanteric with sacral bed sore is a common entity in our clinical practice, and most of the times they are found in at a very at unusual sites like scapula, occipital area, calcaneal area. So in such cases, what is the strategy, or what is your triage system of treating the bed sore, and what should be a point of concern over the position, which is the cornerstone of the any bed sore therapy?
The criteria is the worst sore to be attended first. But then sometimes it so happens that the worst sore is so big that it is not amenable to tension-free closure with a loco-regional flap. And we don't want to give a poor result in the first go, because that will put back the family altogether for the management of all the pressure sores. So a pressure sore which is big but amenable with closure with a flap is chosen first. I have done 2 pressure sore closure at the same time maximum, never more than that, and avoided pressure on those flaps for 3 weeks minimum. So all other positions, see, even a few degrees of angle change is fine. It is a position change. That is to be allowed. But one thing I would like to say, Darshan, is these patients with multiple pressure sores are very poor candidates for any surgery. So it is
Yes,
best
sir.
to avoid flap closure in these patients of multiple pressure sores because they are not optimized in their general condition, and their basic ailment is so severe that even a sturdy closure will give way and the patient will be back with a sore there after 3 to 6 months.
Right, right. Thanks a lot, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Next is Dr. Pranam Sadavarte. Dr. Pranam, sir, you are online. Yeah, Dr. Pranam, please unmute yourself. Okay, no, he's not there. Dr. Rahate, sir, please unmute yourself. You have a question?
Yeah. Shailesh, it was a wonderful
Yes, sir.
presentation. I have two things I want to know. Now, with the critical care thing, the prone ventilation is becoming more frequent, and nowadays these patients develop very extensive and very fast sternal ulcers, along with the dense corneal opacities. These sternal bed sores develop very fast, and the infection spreads to internal mammary group of lymph nodes. What is your take how to manage this type of sternal ulcers? And the second question is hyperbaric oxygen therapy,
Yeah.
pre-operative and post-operative.
Yeah. So about sternal ulcers, since you have come to know and you are aware of this problem of prone nursing, it is best to prevent them by putting these patients on alpha beds to begin with. These soft, thin silicone sheets, which have become available, are also a good method to prevent them. But then still the most important thing is to keep changing the position. So a thin pillow and a thick pillow on each side going from the chest to the pelvis to be changed frequently would be the most useful method to prevent it. Now, in case it happens, it can be closed with a pectoralis major myocutaneous flap transposed there, but again a major undertaking in a patient who may be morbid. So that was the answer to your first question. About the second question, hyperbaric oxygen. Hyperbaric oxygen is something which I personally feel is very useful in acute settings as well as chronic settings, even for salvage of partial loss of flaps. The concept of hyperbaric oxygen was taken up very loudly some decades ago because the oxygenation of tissues helped in angiogenesis. Similar to negative pressure wound therapy, it had many effects. It helped in neovascularization, angiogenesis, and good tissue coming in. But then, unfortunately, most of the double-blind studies have not given due credit to hyperbaric oxygen. But I would say that if the patient can do it, meaning they require about 2 hour sitting every day for possibly 2 to 4 weeks. So its cost effectiveness and its logistic application, if that can be put to use, I think it is a useful modality in pressure sores.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Prashant, sir. Yeah, Dr. Pranam is still not here. Dr. Vikram Desai, sir, do you have a question? You have raised hand. 1 second, I'll unmute him. Desai, sir. Okay, yeah. Vikram, sir, you have a question? Sir, I have
Hello.
a question from. Yeah, Vikram, sir.
Yeah, Shailesh, excellent presentation and beautiful videos of a basic but important topic. The topic that you explained was self-explanatory. I don't have any questions, but just a comment. These patients are most of the times in critical care and they have undergone a lot of pressure because of the original problem, either surgery or medical problem. And financially and emotionally, the relatives are really exhausted. And as you correctly said, these problems are not covered by the insurance. So how do we go about with flaps and other procedures which require a lot of efforts on your part as well as the patient's part?
If they do happen, in spite of all care being taken, the option is only to debride them. Once the bed is ready, cover them with a flap, provided all other conditions are permissible. And it does cost a lot. When I went into the statistics, I did not quote the cost of management of bed sores and how much it increased in similar patients with or without a bed sore. It is huge. And just because they are drained doesn't mean that they can get away without spending that amount for the bed sore.
Definitely. So prevention is the basic thing. We must all
That is the
aim
key.
at.
Yeah. So every patient you go and see in an ICU, or even after he comes out of ICU, other than seeing his other problems, surgical problems, you have to put down the sheets, turn him around, take a look at all pressure areas. If they say that there somewhere it is hurting, attend to it very carefully. Sometimes the illumination is less. You have to wait around for a torch to come and give pressure on that area, see the blanching. All these things have to be done.
Yeah, definitely. Nice tips. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We had a question from Dr. Rajesh Singhvi sir, but he has left now. He asked how to differentiate a bed sore from cautery burn in a post-op patient. How to differentiate a bed sore from a cautery burn?
You cannot. Now, if the cautery pad is kept at an odd position, which is not a regular pressure area, you can make out that this was because of cautery. But the common area is the sacral area. And if at the end of 24 hours you find a pressure sore in the sacral area and the cautery pad as patient pad has also been kept there, it is impossible to differentiate between the two. But the cauteries that are present nowadays generally don't cause cautery burns. So you have to consider that it is because of the pressure. I myself have had a patient whom we operated for about 8 hours, and the neck, he was in the ICU for till the next afternoon. And the next afternoon when we turned him over, he had a bed sore there. So it can be that fast.
So anything which is developing within 24 hours of surgery, you believe you should think of a cautery burn rather than a bed sore. That's what you meant, sir?
It could be. That depends on whether the patient pad was kept at that very site.
Okay. So we don't have any other question. Pradeep Arora sir has a question. Sorry, Pradeep sir.
Yeah, I just raised to reflect.
Sir.
Hello.
Yeah.
Wonderful talk, Dr. Nisal. Very much impressed.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful talk. I just one comment about the medical legal aspect. Yes, it is a medical legal disaster. We rightly pointed out the litigation rate is very high, and then the award is often granted in these cases. But one or 2 points I would like to say. One is that in ICU, if suppose in ICU some cases being discharged from the hospital, and cases such that during home care, subsequently in future that person or can form bed sore at home, it will be good practice to document that there is no bed sore at the time of discharge, because sometimes they develop bed sore after reaching home, and then they tend to ascribe it to the hospital. That is one point. Two, it is very hard to defend, such cases when they go to court. But this is a common observation that only those cases go to for litigation in which death has occurred. That is, in grade 4 and grade 5 bed sore, you have to be very careful and at least prevent death. Litigation rate is quite less if death is not the eventuality. Third thing I would like to say that during the proceedings of such cases, doctrine of res ipsa loquitur is attracted. Now, what is this doctrine? That there will be presumption of guilt against you ab initio. That is, normally burden of proof is to be discharged by the complainant first, and then the defendant has to put up his defense. But here the things are in reverse. You have to explain your innocence right from the word go. Now the studies have appeared in the literature which indicate that it cannot be presumed if bed sore has occurred that there has been nursing care has been suboptimal. In fact, there are studies in which repositioning has been done every 2 hours, and yet the bed sores have occurred after best of the nursing care. In the defense, such studies must be put up in the court because court can give in your favor only if you put material. It's very important for us doctors to form a team with a lawyer and be in charge of that and supply all the information so that it is in the front of court, and whatever bigger chance we have to be absolved in such cases, we must avail of that. We must not leave everything to lawyer in such cases. So there are many more points, but some other time. But this is the brief, piece of advice I would like to give.
Thank you very much, Arora sir. Your first point of keeping it a record, everybody who has an hospital should keep it in mind that a simple addition of a sentence that there are no pressure sores, no bed sores at the time of discharge, and if necessary, showing it to the relatives would be a very pertinent point. And the last part, yes,
yeah,
I want you
one
to
more important point, very important point, that in your in your consent form when we are admitting to ICU patient, please add this sentence that bed sores can form in serious patients who require prolonged bed care. The occurrence of bed sore does not necessarily mean that there is some deficiency on the part of the hospital or its nursing care. That would, although such waiver are not much, but then it is a deterrence to the patient. That acts as a deterrence to the patient from going to court.
Right.
So that is also
it may not be very useful in the court of law, but it reminds the patient's relatives. And also the point brought up by Dr. Mayur Agrawal was pertinent, that on the nursing record, if it is put as to how many times the position was changed and by whom, that would be a very helpful thing in the court of law.
Sir, also the photographic record on admission and at the time of discharge. That can be very helpful if there is some complication in the future.
Right. Thank you very much for all the comments.
Yes, sir, Dr. Anup Sarda here. Sir, I would like to just add one comment. So we as plastic surgeons anyway keep a lot of photographic records as compared to other surgeons. So it is for more for the other specialty to be emphasized to keep photographic records, as Samir sir said.
No, but the record of innocence, nobody keeps unless we make it a particular point. Like I said, at the time of discharge, you should document that there is no the skin, in that area is normal. That area is normal, or suppose you think that the at home patient is likely to form it, then if you have the record that yes, there was no bed sore at the time of discharge, it is always better these cases, because many times patients may this complaint.
Many times when the patient is being discharged, rather take discharge against medical advice, they are not willing for further treatment of bed sore or other treatment, and they have a small bed sore somewhere which must be documented, photographed, because this is likely to grow and put the surgeon in some awkward position later on.
Thank you very much, Pradeep sir, for that insight on that medical legal aspect. Any other question? Vikram, you have raised your hand. I guess you have one more comment or query. Vikram,
no, I don't have any comments. I was just wanting to know if there are no other questions. Is Atish online? Because we will have to propose a formal vote of thanks.
Okay, he's not online, sir.
Okay. And if there are no other questions, on behalf of ASN, I would like to thank today's speaker, Dr. Shailesh Nisar, for an excellent talk on bed sores, and our panelists, Samir and Mayur, for their inputs. Special thanks to our chief guest and judge for today's function, Visnuji Manohar and Prashant Rahate, for bringing him in at such a short notice. Thank you all members for participating over enthusiastically in this contest and hope to meet after the lockdown. Thank you so much. I hand over to Yogesh.
Thank you. Thank you, Vikram. Thank you. So I thank Dr. Sabir sir and Dr. Mayur for being a panelist here today. And Shailesh sir, it was a beautiful talk. Enjoyed it thoroughly. Thanks a lot for considering my request and going ahead with the talk of bed sore prevention and management. Thanks a lot. Yeah. So with permission of panelists, I close off the session now. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we have another talk by Dr. Abhinav Deshpande. Thank you very much, Shailesh sir, and thank you,
Thank
Samir
you
sir.
very much,
Yeah.
Yogesh.
Thank you.
Enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
ASL.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Mayur. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Abhinav.
Hello.
Yeah,
हाँ
Abhinav.
योगेश भाई.
Yeah, I
हाँ
am
हाँ.
you the presenter. So now you can share your screen. Yeah,
एक सेकंड.
I can see your screen here.
हाँ अभी. ओके. ठीक है अभी स्लाइड शो के इससे चलता है ना.
Yeah. Now you can just take one or two slides ahead and back. Yeah, बिल्कुल correct. चलेगा.
ठीक है ना कोई इशू नहीं आ रहा है उसमें. और एक सेकंड. और अभी जैसा फॉर एग्जांपल एक सेकंड. एक इसमें जैसा वॉल्यूम है ना तो वो वॉल्यूम वाला एक चेक कर लेता हूँ. एक सेकंड ना.
कर लो.
आ रहा है बराबर योगेश भाई.
Yes.
And what we are doing is
आवाज आ रहा है, but I guess with video you should talk. You yourself should talk.
हाँ नहीं बस ये छोटा सा ही है. ये तो 5-10 सेकंड का ही है.
Right. Okay.
तो इसका इशू नहीं आ रहा है ना. ठीक है ना. तो should not be a problem.
मैं अभी आज रात में लिंक जनरेट करूंगा. So what is the heading you have given?
नहीं तो अभी हाँ वो अभी चेंज करना है ना शायद. रिसेंट एडवांसेस इन सर्जरी फ्रॉम ऑन्को सर्जरी पर्सपेक्टिव ऐसा कुछ था.
ठीक है ना, ये भी चलेगा. अच्छा है, कोई नहीं.
हाँ ना. ठीक है ना.
This is okay. This heading is okay. I'll give the same name. Okay.
हाँ जैसा भी है वो कुछ शायद रिसेंट एडवांसेस इन जनरल सर्जरी या फिर एप्लीकेशन टू जनरल सर्जरी फ्रॉम ऑन्को सर्जरी पर्सपेक्टिव या फिर ऐसा भी कुछ अगर डालना है.
आराम से सोचो. शाम में 8 बजे तक बता दो मेरे को, फिर मैं जनरेट कर लूंगा लिंक. ठीक है.
हाँ ठीक है ना. ठीक है.
नो मैन. थैंक यू.
ओके. बाय.